Hello Absurdians and welcome back to the Manor Bar, where I make some tasty drinks and talk about some gaming news. Now today's video is going to be a bit different. I was originally going to talk about Polygon's review of Dragon's Crown, but I decided no. There's been a lot of negativity around in the gaming media at the moment, between the Phil Fish story and now this, and a lot of people just seem to be wound up very tightly. I think it's time to take a step back and relax. So I'm going to make a nice cool drink to cool off. Now this is a variation on a White Russian that I really quite like. So, let's get dug in. You're going to need some whiskey glasses or something along these lines. I'm using 2 because I want to make 2. Just feel like it's quite hot and these aren't that big. And you should fill them with ice, but unfortunately I've just run out of ice. And I have no ice cube tray to make more, so just gonna have to make do with empty ones. So we start off with a little bit of vodka. And I'm not being very accurate with measurements or anything at the moment because these are pretty small and I can't be bothered to measure out like half bits and put them in, so I'm kind of freestyling it right now. You'll then need some coffee liqueur like Kahlua here or any other coffee liqueur that you have. I'm not that fond of coffee, so I've not put too much in. And then you'll need to get out your Bailey's Irish Cream, and this is where it differs from the traditional White Russian, because the traditional White Russian doesn't actually include this, but I always put this in, it's delicious. Quite a bit of that in there. And then we're going to finish it off with milk, or if you have it, cream, but I don't have any and I actually prefer milk in mine. And there you have it. That is tasty. Very tasty. So today I'm not working off any particular news stories, I'm just going off the back of my own opinion here. This is a bit of an opinion piece. But as I said, in the wake of the Phil Fish story and the Polygon review of Dragon's Crown, it seems to me that everyone's wound up a bit tightly. There seems to be a lot of tension in the gaming media and people like me who consumes the gaming media. Everything just seems to be wound up a bit tight at the moment. And I'd like to do something to combat that. So I just wanted to come out here and really reinforce the importance of thinking before you speak and just generally being a nice person. It's easy for us to forget that the people behind video games, the people behind reviews, and hell, even the people who do YouTube videos are normal people with everyday lives, everyday worries. When we read something or see something that we don't necessarily agree with, the first reaction is to get defensive. It's a natural, but it's important to try and think of it from the other perspective. This may be my history as a philosophy student kicking in, but looking at it from the other side will really help you inform both your argument, which is fantastic because there is nothing worse than an uninformed argument, and it'll make you a bit more empathetic. Now this isn't sympathetic, you're not feeling sorry for someone, you're trying to empathise with them, you're understanding why they feel what they do. And this is extremely important, especially within this new brand of celebrity that gaming has given rise to. We're seeing indie devs, reviewers and YouTubers who are all on the front lines. They are the ones tweeting their tweets, they're the ones Facebooking their Facebooks, they're the ones videoing the videos. They don't have the luxury of a publicist or a PR department like larger companies do, or indeed like Hollywood does. So when you comment on something or tweet at these people, you're tweeting directly to them. There is no buffer. And so that's something to remember when you're saying something that could potentially be really hurtful. And now you may just think, well, I'm just one person, there's no point in getting worried about that. But there is serious danger in thinking that. There's a phrase that is death by 1,000 cuts. And that essentially boils down to, say you got 1 cut somewhere, a small little cut wouldn't do anything. But say you got 1,000 small cuts, it's going to do some real harm. The same is true of negative comments that just attack people. If someone gets those kind of comments, it wears them down. People psychologically are drawn towards the negative. It's called negative bias. And that means that even adrift in a sea of positive compliments, wonderful reviews, great feedback, that handful of comments that either personally attack these people or are just really disparaging and mean stand out more than they should. And there's nothing that these creators can do about it because they're going to notice it. It's a matter of fact. And if you start getting thousands of these over a long period of time, it builds up. It's like building a small wall of hate that builds into a larger wall of hate, that builds into a great Hadrian's Wall, a great wall of hate. And over time, it can just get to people. And that's probably what happened with Phil Fish. It wasn't that one comment that just caused him to do everything that he did. It was a culmination of years of these comments. Can you imagine how much that must grate on someone being told day after day that they are a douchebag? And now some people may seem like they're not affected. You see some people, they seem very happy, they seem very affable, they seem like they've got skin made of the hardest stone imaginable. But I can guarantee you that it does affect them. And whether it affects people a lot or hardly at all, it will affect them, and they all deal with it in their own ways. Some will do it very publicly, like Phil Fish did on Twitter. Others will deal with it privately, behind closed doors. They'll talk to similar-minded people and just vent and vent. They'll talk to their other halves, they'll talk to their spouse, their wife, their husband, their children. Some people do it in unhealthy ways. Some people manage to find a healthy outlet for it, but it does affect them even if you can't see it happen. Now, I'm not telling you not to have an opinion. There is no greater sin than someone telling you that you can't have an opinion. But you also need to bear in mind that your opinion is yours. Just yours. You can't force your opinion on anyone else, but there are going to be people who disagree with your opinion. That is also fine. The best thing that you can do is inform yourself of all the facts, and engage in debate. This does not mean argue. There is a line between debate and argue. Debate is a reasoned exchange of ideas where you're open to the other side. You accept that other ideas may be better than your own opinion. You are ready to change, and you are able and informed enough to give your own opinion without seeming like a complete jackass. An argument is usually a very one-sided affair where you are trying to force your opinion on someone else. It's not healthy, it doesn't get anywhere. If you disagree with something, think why. Why do you disagree with it? On what premises do you disagree with it? Once you've got all that sorted out and you realise that yes, this is a valid disagreement, or actually this isn't that big a deal, then you can start commenting. And just please be informed about these things. It is very easy on the internet to just post what you immediately feel then and there, because it's right there. There's that comment box. It's ready for you. And I've done it. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I posted purely on unreasoned opinion and pure feeling, but I never feel good about it because I didn't think things through. So all I can say is, if you see something that you disagree with, take a step back. Think of the other person's point of view, try and imagine it from their perspective, think about the core reasons of your disagreement, and act on that. Inform yourself, research. It's the best way to do things. And I know it's hard to do because sometimes people are absolute dickholes. I'm not gonna lie, there are plenty of dickholes online. All I can say to that is, don't feed the trolls, try and find someone who at least appears to be open to debate, and keep personal attacks out of it. They're not constructive in any way, shape or form. You don't want to be the person that caused someone to hate what they do, because you have essentially just crushed another person's dreams, and that is possibly the worst thing that someone can do to another person. So this has been a pretty impassioned opinion piece. I'm sorry about that, not particularly newsworthy, but I just wanted to disarm some of the tension that's been going around in the gaming community. I wanted to try and alleviate some of the bad feelings that have been going around, and I wanted to try and help spread a feeling of calm, reasoned advice. And I know I've probably just rambled for the past, whatever, 10 minutes it's been, but I hope I've at least done some amount of good. So, I'm Rich Perry, this has been the Manor Bar. I haven't even touched my second drink, but I'm probably going to down that right now. And I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers.